Hare Krishna. Anu Krishna Devi Dasi. Welcome. Where are you connecting from?
Hi, hello, Nandavat. Nice to meet you. I'm from Brazil.
Oh, welcome. Very good. Are you a
Thank you.
disciple of Madhusuda Maharaj?
Yes, I am. But this time I
Happy to meet
usually
you.
don't participate because it's late here for us.
Yes.
It's 11 p.m. So I most of the time I'm asleep at this time. So today I decided to participate.
So welcome. We are very happy to meet all the wonderful devotees
Thank
in
you.
Brazil. There is such a beautiful community. So many wonderful devotees there. So nice. Dada Sundari. She's
Dandavat, Dandavat
Dandava.
all the ways.
Where are you now?
In Mayapur, at home,
Oh,
we are starting to be ready for school as usual.
okay, okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
She is in heaven. She's Padma, you're singing. Hare Krishna. How are you, Padma? You're so beautiful. I see your teeth are coming out. Okay. So beautiful. Beautiful smile. Hare Krishna. So beautiful. And Padma is now 7 years old?
She's 6. She will be 7 next year in April.
Okay. Okay. Big girl.
And we like to join you, but still didn't come even for one back to basics. I mean, back to yoga for kids.
Back to yoga for kids.
And
You are always welcome.
I think,
Anytime. Hare
yeah,
Krishna,
but
Hare Mahaprabhu.
there is a timing. It's like a little bit night
For
for
you
us.
is late. Yes, for you is
Yeah, that's
9:30 in the
right.
evening. Yes, I know. Paramananda
But we will
Prabhu,
try on
Gaunataras.
Saturday.
Yes, it's late for you.
Okay.
Seva Rupa Didi. Good morning, obeisances.
Good morning, obeisances. Good evening, obeisances. Good noon, not yet noon, obeisances to Paramananda Prabhu in Japan. Govinda, 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 and good, really, middle of the night obeisances to Leela Moy Prabhu, Anu Krishna, David Asi, Gauranathara, and to Seva Rupa David Asi. Good time, early morning, good time for starting our day, 3 a.m. Radha Sundari Devirasi in perhaps Mayapur. Sometimes she surprises us.
Yes, she's in Mayapur. She's in Mayapur.
Is in Mayapur, okay. Praneshwari knows where all the children are.
Yes, Padma is getting ready to go to school.
Oh, you just had, no? Did you just have kids?
No. Radha Sundari just connected a little bit and she was getting Padma ready to go to school.
Okay, got it. All right, and maybe more will join us very soon. And I'm using only one internet source, so I'm not sure I'll be able to see Facebook as well without complications of the internet. So just 1 second. Priyanana Devidasi just joined us from an undisclosed location in Russia, which I think is St. Petersburg, and Jeevana is joining us slowly. Connecting to audio. Why is it taking so long? I wonder.
And Divya Shakti is sending Dandavas, dear Srila Madhusudan Maharaj and the devotees.
Okay, and Divya Shakti sent me a cryptic message. Means, anyway, a cryptic message. But I assume, Divya Shakti, you let Krishna Kanta, Munindra Shantamai, you let them know your details, because I don't have any details. Only the rumor of your arrival in Italy in due course. And Gangalila Devidasi with us. And Jivana Devidasi is with us, but I'm not sure she can hear us. Dandavat Gangalila Devidasi. And indeed, to all of you, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. First thing we do, we learn from the children and the youth that we should do this first. And Priyananda sending obeisances from Lakta. So she's confirmed in Lakta. Okay, as we do, we can chant Vandeham and Om Gyan and Namo Mahaviranyaya. We just did chant Panchakalpatarubhyascha, greeting to each of us. So let us begin. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahaviranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratije Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And a big welcome to Nirupama Devidasi, who has joined us and who just disappeared as well. Oh, there she is. I've reappeared and disappeared. And Dhananjaya Prabhu also joined us from Russia. Dhananjaya of Russia with us too. Chinmoy Devu at work.
Because he has only one source of internet.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. You froze just for 3 seconds, Maharaj.
Oh, let's see if I can not freeze. We are at a also undisclosed destination. No, what it is, but undisclosed location. No, I'm in Ireland at the new center, but the new center doesn't have Wi-Fi actually, so I'm relying on the phone. Okay. And so we hope, I just turned off something, so I hope that we'll be okay. And if it does freeze up or anything happens, please, you all continue as you do. You can live without me for sure. Okay.
Oh, Maharaj, I'm sorry to say you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, I often am. But on this occasion, I will assert with my full humility that I'm right. Competition between devotees of humility.
Yes,
no, I'm more humble than you. No, I'm more humble than you. I'm more humble than you. Hare Krishna. So let us begin with a question today. So you know where I am, at least, and you also know that I do ask devotees for questions, or doesn't have to be a question. Actually, we like to hear your week's experience. And as I say, I'm I hope and I'm sure you are all reading something every day or seeing something every day. And you know, there's things every day that inspire us when we're reading and seeing. And I'm happy to share, but we want to hear what's struck you. And actually, Gopeshwar Prabhu, he told me, because we were like discussing some things which would jump out at us and give us encouragement. And he said, and Gopeshwar Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple from 1971 when he joined. And he said to me when we were like saying some points that jump out at us. And then he said, and how many flyers have I made in my life, which are quotations from Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj Gurudev, quotations from the scripture. And they're our masters, their words are scripture. But they're quotations from the scripture that's inspired him. And he thinks, you know, everybody, if they read this, they must become Krishna conscious. And he said, you know, like this, so many things strike our hearts and we think that's all we need. And even Guru Maharaj and Gurudev say in different occasions, the only thing we need, this is all we need. And he said, and how many flyers, you know, countless flyers he's made in his life for distributing to people, which are the words of our masters, but which are things which we feel that everyone must get life from this. So if you were to make a flyer, what would be your excerpt? There's a question for everyone. While you're meditating on the subject, you can volunteer, devotionally volunteer to say something. And how? By putting up a hand, either a physical hand or a digital hand, which I don't think I've ever done in my life. Where is the digital hand? In participants, is it?
No, Maharaj, in reactions.
Reactions.
You have
Oh,
share
reactions.
screen.
Reactions. I don't think I've ever pressed on that. And the hand, I can see. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, look, I raised a hand. There you are. But I'm going to lower it. That was only a practice raising of the hand.
Maharaj, in the chat, we have a contribution from Priya Nana. Actually, a question.
I question. How are all gurus so inspired to keep on going with spiritual life and keep on giving initiations? Sometimes you see the pictures, even 10 or 20 years old. Almost no same faces you can see now. All are gone. Sorry, a bit of a sad question. Well, I can say that maybe the cameras have a filter on them, so they only show new people. Because we are meeting all devotees, all the time. But not everyone can always be sort of a temple devotee. That's quite a rare personality. And as in London, you know that because you were on the Zooms, in London, I was so happy to see devotees I'd not seen for a long time. And actually, in the case of Devananda, you know, it was like 36 years or something. But he's once a devotee, always a devotee. So what can we say? That, and you're asking, how are all gurus so inspired to keep on going? It's not gurus, it's devotees. And maybe the guru section kind of in remembrance of the devotees have to understand that they can't just hide away. But over the years, yes, we've got hidden gurus who then unhidden themselves. In the broader Krishna conscious mission, I mean, we definitely have gurus who've hidden and then reappeared. Everybody is a devotee. And I also am sad that sometimes we go to places and there is not another disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj. That is fairly common. But also, sometimes we're going to places, it's not a disciple of Srila Gurudev, in the gathering where we are. And this is my encouragement to the devotees. When you have a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj, disciple of Srila Gurudev, try to have their association. I mean, of course, we have to be gently selective, because we do know not every disciple of every guru, exactly follows what is the principle of their guru, etc. Different colors come in, which may not be quite the color we would expect. So we do have to be gently selective along the way. But for instance, in London, Devashishwa, he lives there. And so the devotees consider that he's, they just feel, oh, he's one of us kind of thing, the familiarity, rather than the so much experience he's got one-on-one with Guru Maharaj and with Gurudev. And similarly here in Limerick, we have Gopeshwar Prabhu. And so in a way, when you're living close nearby somebody, you feel the familiarity side. And so they're feeling, oh, one of us, but a little older, maybe. But he's got his own personal one-on-one with Srila Prabhupada, with Srila Sri Ramanuja, and with Srila Govinda, with Srila Prabhupada, with Srila Guru Maharaj, and with Srila Gurudev. And he comes out with beautiful stories. We went, was it yesterday morning or the morning before? Morning before, perhaps. He and I went for a walk. And what a beautiful walk in Limerick. Okay, a beautiful town, but I meant beautiful walk with the devotee. We could have been anywhere. And it was a beautiful walk because of just the chat, and we're in an informal environment, and he was telling so many things. And on the Zooms, if we could invite him for this Zoom, it's a bit early for Ireland. If we could invite him for this Zoom also, really, he would be happy to chat. But when we are close to the devotees, we can take it as a little ordinary about, they're our friend, we mix, we cook together, we take prasadam together, so many things like that. But we must treasure the disciples, those who've got us, who've had favorable association with Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, and Srila Prabhupada. And they are in the world. And we see that, we have our family of devotees who have been chanting 16 rounds a day since 1982. So they're not prominent and kind of keep themselves to themselves. And for whatever reasons, they find the temple life a little difficult to maintain. But almost no same faces. Well, the Russian and Ukrainian missions, we've seen the same faces. Latvia also the same faces. And here in Ireland, it begins with I, same as Italy. Here in Ireland, then we have devotees. Yes, Guru Maharaj's disciples means Vinod Bihari and Gopeshwar Prabhu, Gurudev's disciples, Subhasini. For many years they're here. I think your camera, your pictures that you're seeing from has an old people's filter on it. It shows everybody as young, Priyananada. So you only see the latest of the family and not the grandfather, etc. Devotees are there. But just like when you meet 500 people in a lecture hall or somewhere, or in a gathering, then one or two people, many may show interest. Why do they sit through an hour or an hour and a half? Only, I mean, sometimes nobody walks out, so they're interested. Why will they use an hour and a half of their time if they're not interested? That's one point. But then out of all the devotees who come, then we can't expect that 100% are going to stay year after year. But we can expect that everybody's heart will actually be benefited forever when they've got some appreciation for the devotees. And that will be with them forever. And anyhow, our concentration will be on ourselves. Am I maintaining my devotional mood? And not looking, oh, they've gone away, they've gone away, they've gone away. Some little sound coming from somewhere. Oh, Radha Sundari's mic is on.
Padma, from Padma.
Oh, Padma. Hare Krishna, Padma. Okay, we'll mute their microphone. All right. Anyway, it's not a sad question in the sense, well, sad in the sense of, yes, it would be lovely to have like 100% of the original family come together. But we are together by heart. Dhananjaya Das to everyone. Maharaj, please tell us about the bhajan. Sri Sachinandana Vandana. When did Srila Guru Maharaj write it? Shruta Shava told me that this is a very important bhajan and that we should know it by heart. Jaya Sachinandana Suramuni Vandana Baba Baya Kandana Baya He. Is this the one?
I'm looking for it. In the last edition, 9th edition, I cannot find it by that name.
Not by that name, but I can't think of another song unless somebody else can think of it.
That's the one, Maharaj. Dhananjaya Prabhu confirmed he meant this particular song.
Okay. Well, I don't know many. I mean, I only know a few songs actually fully by heart, but this is one. And why? Because we sing it every single morning. So somehow, like our little Tota Gopinath in Vila Govinda Ashram, who is, I think, 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken, just without reading it, without sitting down, trying to learn line by line by line, just by hearing again and again, then we automatically start singing the song, as it were. So, Jaya Sachinandana Suramuni Vandana. Let us visit it then with the translation so that we can read the translation. Is our idea. But it may take me a moment to get it because something happened. Oh, hello. On my screen came Jaya Sachinandana. I have a computer that actually works from my brain now without me clicking anything. Just see, this is what the future is, they tell us. We won't have to type, what is it, ASDFGH. Instead of that, we'll be thinking. Jaya Sachinandana Suramuni Vandana Bhava Baya Kandana Jaya He. Jaya Hari Kīrtana Natana Vatana Kalimana Katana Jaya He. And we do have a word for word folder. I just wonder whether this is in there or not. It would take me a moment or two to find out whether we have this word by word. Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
Oh. No, you're looking for the way the word about for word. So I removed the 9th edition.
Okay. So just give me a second. If I can find. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. In the meantime, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Oh. Well, what can I say? That I don't immediately have at hand, and I may not have. Okay, dear devotees, please excuse. I can't immediately pick it up, so I won't spend more time with that. So let's see the translation again, Praneshri Didi, on the screen. We can all see. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Shachi Devi, and Sura Muni Vandana. Great sages and demigods always sing his praise. Bhavabhaya Kandana Jayohe. For by doing so, the fear of repeated birth and death is cut to pieces. Jaya Hari Kirtana, Natana Vatana. All glories to the Kirtan of the holy name of Krishna. For when one chants the name of Krishna and dances in ecstasy, Kalimala Kartana Jayohe. The filth of this age of Kali disappears. Nayana Purandara Vishvarupa Snehadara. Sri Chaitanya delights all eyes with his charming beauty. He is the most dearly beloved Lord of all, Acha, yes. He is the most dearly beloved Lord of all, and the intimate brother of Vishvarup. He brings the highest auspiciousness to everyone, for he floods the entire universe with the nectar of love of Godhead, and thus saves all living beings. All glories to Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya, who are very dear to Sri Nimai Pandit. All glories to their family servant, Ishana. Oh, Shri Sita Dvaitarai Malini Srivasadai. All glories to Sita Thakurani and Sri Advaita Acharya. All glories to Malini Devi and Srivas Thakur. So that's Advaita. Sita is Advaita Acharya's consort, and Srivas is Malini. Malini is Srivas's consort. So husband and wife, husband and wife. And all glories to Acharya Chandrasekhar. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Garadha Pandit, and Sri Hariras Thakur, the Nama Acharya. Murari Mukunda Jai Premanidhi Mahashai Jaya Jata Prabhu Parishada. All glories to Murari Gupta and all glories to Mukunda Datta. All glories to all the other eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Parishad, Parishad is the associate. Jaya Jata Prabhu Parishada. By singing the glories of Srila Prabhupada, that means Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and all those great souls who are eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even the lowest of men can obtain the highest treasure of love. So Vandi Sabakara Pai Adha Mere Kripa Pai. Bhakti Sapashada Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So Dhananjay was asking, do I know when Srila Guru Maharaj composed this? No, I don't know when he composed it. What have you heard from Shruta Shava Prabhu? Can you reliably remember, Dhananjaya Prabhu? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Anyway, all of our bhajans are important, but this is Guru Maharaj's bhajan, and it reminds me of Bhajare Bhajare Ama Manati Manda, this morning song, where we're also remembering the Lord and, means Mahaprabhu, Lord and his associates and the devotees. So it is quite along these lines of remembering not only the Lord, but his devotees as well. And this is sung in the morning, and in the evening, the Saraswati Arati, that song is very complete song. I mean, every song is complete. They all have their different place, but that Saraswati Arati song is really that full explanation of who is on the altar, Mahaprabhu, Radharan, Krishna, and who is Mahaprabhu. And it is a unique song. There is no where like that, where you're going to have such a description of Srimati Radharani's mood and Krishna's mood, gently smiling as he takes on the form of Gauranga. What's Krishna thinking while he's standing in the center? That is a very astounding Kīrtan. And we do read the translations, but maybe we read the translations a little fast sometimes. And not all the time, but from time to time, we try to read the translations of these bhajans, these Kīrtans, so that when we are singing them, we may be conscious while we sing and not unconscious while we sing. And this will be a good little bit of exercise homework to make word by word for the words that we maybe don't have immediately in our stock. And certainly, by the way, again, I don't have the last line. I don't have it directly in front of me. Certainly, that last line, it is Sapasha Vandi Savakara Pai and not Vandi Sevakara Pai, which for some reason we hear being sung in many places. And one of our educated, Sanskrit educated devotees said that there is no such word as Sevakara Pai. It's Savaka. Sava means all. So to all of their lotus, Vandi Savakara Pai, we are making prayers, Vandanam. We're making prayers to all of their lotus feet. So that is kind of fairly common, and I don't know why it should be common. Why change that word from Savakara to Seva? I do not know, but we do hear it a little bit too regularly.
Maharaj, I'm pretty sure that there is a missing personality in the translation of the last verse. Premanidhi Mahashoy refers to Premanidhi.
Oh, yes, it does, no doubt.
Which is Vidyanidhi.
Murari Bandi Savat. Yes.
This is completely absent.
Hare Krishna. And by the way, when we do have the opportunity, or when there is that same song as there is this song, or Kīrtan, in the pocket guide, the pocket guide is, of course, doesn't have all the songs in, but that translation is generally more reliable. It's come from later on and duly corrected. And I expect that in the pocket guide, you will find it is given correctly. Yes, but definitely an important song. I haven't heard Srila Gurudev specifically say that song, but you know, so many of the Kīrtans are very special. Pocket edition. Hare Krishna. And here in Ireland, they've got a songbook which they've made so that kind of the most common Kīrtans that are chanted. But it's the first book in the world that I've ever seen, and I see no reason why it shouldn't be also, that the index is in the central pages. They printed it and it's on a little bit thick paper, and it's stapled in the middle. So then it's basically just lots of bits of paper folded over. And so when you open the songbook, it naturally opens to the middle pages where the staples are. But I'm looking for the index in the back of the book, or then I look in the front of the book. And then I think, well, we should make an index for this. They say, no, it's in the middle of the book, obviously. And so there we are. So a little bit of out of the box thinking by the devotees here. Hare Krishna. Oh.
Just give me a second. I just have the pocket book, but of course it doesn't have word for word.
Yeah. Anyway, that will be a little bit of homework. We can't, I mean, it'll be a diversion from the stream, for me at least, to start going to the Veda base, which
But
is
would you like to read these translation in the pocket guide?
Oh, yes, you may read it. Please, you read it.
Jaidev Prabhu is jumping to read it.
Jump and read.
Jumping. Yeah, this one's a little more direct. I noticed the translation was a little funny on that first one. All glory to Sri Shachinandana, who is worshipped by the demigods and sages. All glory to He who destroys all fear of material existence. All glory to the inaugurator of dancing and chanting the Lord's names. All glory to He who removes the contamination of Kali. Sri Shachinandana is the delight of everyone's eyes and affectionate to his brother Vishvarupa. He is the maintainer of the world and the embodiment of its good fortune. All glory to Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya, who are dear to Vishwambhara's heart. All glory to his dear servant Ishana. All glories to Sita Thakurani and Advaita Acharya. All glory to Malini Devi and Srivas Thakur. And then all glory to, and then it's covered by some kind of computer, like up and down buttons and things. So I can't quite see it.
I don't know.
But I can give my own translation. Jai Nityananda Rai. All glories to the great emperor Nityananda. Gadadhara Jai Jai. All glories to Gadadhar. And Jai Haridas Namacharya. All glories to the great Acharya of the holy name, Haridas Thakur. Oh, there it is. This one I know what it all means and have it memorized magically. I don't know how. But next, there's I even know, I can give you the next line if you want. Let's see. Murari Mukunda Jai, Premanidhi Mahashai. Oh, there it is. All glories to Murari Gupta, Mukunda Datta, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi. There he is.
Yeah.
All glory to all the associates of Sri Shachinandana. I offer my obeisance at their feet. By their mercy upon this fallen soul, I serve Srila Prabhupada and his associates.
Uh-huh. There we are. All right, so we've given 2 renditions. And very
The
good.
first one is our last guide, prepared in Australia, is the 9th edition. that
Yes.
each guide has a little thing that can be readjusted.
And then there's a 10th edition, which came in Chiang Mai, which has some readjustment too. But there's actually, you see, that Kīrtan guide, I mean, we know its history. It came about because previously, before the first edition, now we're up to the 10th edition, but before the first edition, the devotees will come to Navadip and they'll be in the Nat Mandir with some typed carbon copied papers, and everyone's trying to find which one's which and then staple them. Maybe we have like 10, 20 sheets or something like that. It grows and staple them together. But then, you know, the pages come out, and it was not easy to follow the Kīrtans. And so this way, collecting those dog-eared pieces of paper together, then we brought together the first edition. And actually, Sita Devidasi from America, Revatinath Prabhu's daughter, she was very, very helpful with that, to bring that together. And then once we had the base, so that songbook, it's also got translations from, you know, unknown quarters, definitely unknown quarters. And so really, it was intended to be that we're pulling all those bits of paper together in an unofficial book. It never actually had anything about, this is the official book of Chaitanya Saraswati Math. It was just meant to be helpful for the devotees. And we were very much expecting that, one capable devotee would revise the whole thing. And that did happen in the case of the pocket guide. That's the point. Hare Krishna. And Dustin entered the waiting room. I wonder who is Dustin. And still, as we do repeatedly give a mention from Goswami Maharaj's quote of somebody else, which is that all translation is interpretation. So we're grateful to all of those with very limited, Bengali and Sanskrit who did make the early translations, and they did the best of their capacity. But as we get our bright devotees, then we may hope that they'll be able to give some, different, or not different, corrected where it needs correction, some corrected insight. And in general, it is very good for us to come to these translations. And not only that one song, but for each of the songs, we can very easily go through tape recorder style, or not a tape recorder, but whatever it is, MPEG recorder.
MP3.
MP3 recorder style. We can easily be like an MP3 recorder, but we want to be a human being, funnily enough. And so it is very good to remind ourselves. And here we've been, as Back to Basics course, back to Basics edition number 20 maybe, and I mean quite early in our time, we went through Sharirara Vidyara Radendriya Tahika, which, Tota Gopinath, coming back to Tota Gopinath, can recite all the way through without being able to read and write. He can recite the whole thing, because then we get prasadam after reciting it. But just, on automatic mode, he hears it and repeats it. But we want to, once we get a little older than 6 years old, we want to understand what the meaning is behind it. And it's a very good, also, this is composed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sharirara Vidyara. But I'm just using this as an example. Really, we should think what we're saying and honor prasad. So similarly, in the morning kirtans, we can definitely go into autopilot mode and go through the whole kirtan, but we want to think while we do it. But I can also say another thing. Okay, this is just life experience. That, when you go down the steps, when you're in your own home, somewhere where you're very familiar, you go up and down the steps without thinking about it, the staircase, to the upstairs floor. When you start thinking about what your feet are doing, then you tend to trip up. And I know sometimes I'm leading the bhajan, and I'm trying to lead with the thinking, then I get caught up in the meaning part and then kind of trip up along the way. So if we can sing with meaning and not trip up, that's even the best way to. Hare Krishna. There's always room for improvement.
Maharaja,
Yes,
we have a
Chintamani.
note. Yes,
Huh?
yes.
Looks like
Chintamani.
Chintamani Devidas is eager to say something. She's got lots of stars and lots of constellations and many things. And she's alive. She's not an MP3 player. Chintamani, please say something to us. But I know you'll only
Hare
say
Krishna.
okay.
I was just gonna type back to Pranashri Didi, because I sent her in a private message some friends that I know from the Bhakti communities and other parts of the world, that they're here tonight at the Zoom. And I was telling her, because I know she's such a wonderful hostess with the mostest, wanting to know who are strangers. So I just sent her a message saying that these new guests are my friends and they're here, and I brought them because I know she messages people, and she changed my I just put a bunch of stars because I didn't feel like typing my name, and then Pranashri Didi added my name, so it feels really great to have stars in my name. Jai.
Maharaj, when you ask who might Dustin be, this is one of the friends.
Jai. So I think maybe Lani and
Yes, also.
Leni, I don't know the pronunciation, and Dustin, maybe. New friends, welcome.
Yes.
Leni
Hello.
and Dustin. Hare Krishna. Yes, Dustin, Govinda, Govinda, and Leni, to you both, a welcome. We're having a chat and trying to remind ourselves of the importance of knowing the content of what we sing, as well as the words of what we sing. And some of the songs are very traditional. We sing actually every morning, we can say, that in the temples around the world. Then we follow Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, founder Acharya, founded by Srila Bhakti Rakha Sriradev Goswami Maharaj way back in 1942. And he actually moved in 1941, but from a long time ago. And that is really the gold standard for us. If we can follow the whole program, wonderful. But their program, being a temple, is quite long, and they have dedicated brahmacharis for singing the morning bhajans and evening bhajans. And that's our gold standard. And so around the world, really, mostly devotees do sing the songs which we are discussing, which we've just been discussing. And good to stop, or not stop in the Kīrtan, but afterwards to remind ourselves what we're singing and to sing with meaning. And that is Gurudev's wish, Srila Govinda Maharaj's wish. Our songs are for singing with meaning and for singing from the heart. And the younger we are, the easier it is to learn all of these things. And we did just quote our 6-year-old Tota Gopinath, who really, I'm surprised how quickly he picks up the songs and sings along. And with enthusiasm.
Dear Maharaj.
He does it with all action and expression. Hare Krishna. Yes, Pranashri.
Maharaj, I would like to take advantage that Paramananda Prabhu is on the spotlight, because I have a note here about a story, Sarasvati Thakur and the smoking gentleman story. So if he could tell us that story. I was trying to search for it and I couldn't find it.
And the
About
basis
3 or 4 BBBCs ago, you said Sarasvati Thakur and the smoking gentleman story. So I wrote it down.
Oh, that was probably in the context we discussed.
Oh.
It was kind of to illustrate certain point, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Okay.
I can tell another story. And we heard it from Srila Govinda Maharaj on the context we're discussing right now, and that's it regarding Priyanana Didi's question about why certain devotees are such stalwarts that just keep going. And really, Srila Govinda Maharaj repeatedly mentioned to us how careful we have to be in our and I have to say, imperfect judgment of who is a devotee and what is his degree of devotion. And Srila Govinda Maharaj says, and it is recorded in Amnaya Tattva very nicely, how difficult it is to recognize it. I think the chapter is called Recognizing Devotion. How difficult it is to recognize devotion. And he is saying that even demigods having difficulty with that. Only a substantial devotee can recognize another devotee. Like in the case of Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj recently, we had his appearance at his appearance. Who recognized him and who pointed out that he is a substantial devotee? That was Saraswati Thakur. He can confirm, yes, he is a devotee, even though his behavior if I would have seen him, I wouldn't even think about him to be a devotee because my vision is imperfect. So Gurudev warned us about making a quick decision or quick assumption on something we see with our imperfect vision. So he gave this very, very simple example. He said there was a lady living nearby the temple, and Maharaj knows very well. If you go to the Ganges towards Gauranga Bridge, you're passing through this very simple village with the clay huts and really people still living there, Maharaj. I'm not sure what happened to that village now, but it was there years ago. Few houses, simple clay houses. There was one lady who would come to see Govinda Maharaj every morning, to see the deities every morning, to see Guru Maharaj Samadhi every morning with some flowers and offerings. And she was doing it for many years. And then in the evening, she would do something during the day, obviously. And then she will bring some money to Govinda Maharaj in the evening and give whatever rupees there, a few coins. And Srila Govinda Maharaj once commented on that lady. He said that we should be very careful in our judgment. For example, if a big sannyasi come here with a big group of disciples, he's well garlanded, wearing beautiful iron silk saffron cloth, very nice tall danda, and many servitors around him, hundreds of people following. He will be seated on the honor chair, giving a very nice talk, no doubt. And that lady coming here for practically all her life, giving that very simple service, no one even noticing her. So who will be the Mahabhagavata Vaishnava? And that was the question when everybody went silent. But I said, both can be. And sannyasi can be an imposter too. I'm not saying anything, but it's also possible. But we have to have a proper vision to see everyone. And since we don't, Srila Gurudev advised us, please, you give honor to everyone. Srila Rupa Goswami, whatever Gurudev said, it is from the Shastra, it is from that world. So Srila Rupa Goswami also gives the same advice. At least in mind, we give our honor to all the Vaishnavas who are taking the holy name, who are participating in Nam Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu in this age. This is our practice, to another piece of Nichna. Be more humble than a grass, be more tolerant than a tree, always give honor to others, never ask for any honor towards yourself. So this is a proper vision. And then we will stop judging people by their appearances, by the external manifestation of their appearance. And then we will see that we're actually surrounded by so many devotees. Devotion is not for show. It is for internal practice. And quite often, devotees go into their inner world of practice. How can we make any judgment what position they are? If they're not present on the picture, they're not jumping in the front of the camera during the festival, does it mean that they have lost their devotion or they lost their seva connection? Of course not. So we have to be very, very careful there. Really, first of all, it's very dangerous for us to make that kind of judgments. And like Madhusudana Maharaj said, that something is wrong with the camera, probably. That's another Vaishnava vision. He's not blaming anybody in particular. Camera probably have some filter issues. They're filtering all the older devotees who are unable to jump anymore, by the way. I mean, I'm not like very old, but even me, I'm not very jumping these days. What to speak of someone who is in his 70s or 80s. But maybe they're jumping in their heart, who knows? Maybe they are eternally with Mahaprabhu's son Kīrtan. Again, it's an internal process, so we have to be very careful on that. But just to fulfill desire of Praneshwari Didi, the story is about one gentleman who was very honest. Madhusudan Maharaj knows that story. It's well known. Srila Saraswati Thakur was giving talks in Mayapur, near Yogapith, in Chaitanya Math. And there's the gentleman, he was from a very respected family and occupied a very important position, somehow connected to the government. He was coming from Calcutta, but he was a chain smoker. But he was very much attracted by Krishna Katha of Saraswati Thakur. And he would be sitting there smoking his cigarettes or whatever he was smoking. Well, something, we know for sure what Saraswati Thakur would provide for him to keep him there, to keep hearing Krishna Katha. But anyhow, he's there. And then he's listening to Saraswati Thakur. And every time he takes the train from Calcutta to Mayapur, which is really an effort to do, and he's a busy person, respectable person. Saraswati Thakur notices him. And he tells his servant, Paramananda Prabhu, you please make sure he is there, make sure he's comfortable. If you see he's a chain smoker, if you see he's running off his smoke, please, you supply that. Give him cigarettes, or later on, it was also mentioned that he provided a nice hookah so that he's comfortable, smoking nicely. So that's why Thakur tolerating, he's not saying anything. He's even facilitating that. And someone might have said, why? Why is he doing that? It's a bad habit. He's waiting for the right moment. And then one day, it was said, this gentleman come in front of Saraswati Thakur and confessed in his bad behavior. He said, somehow I was so foolish that I couldn't understand since the very beginning, but please forgive me. I was so attracted by your Krishna Katha that I couldn't not to be here, but my habit was still with me. So I kept smoking while listening to your Krishna Katha. But then now suddenly I realized that I'm doing wrong. So please, I'm taking shelter at the lotus feet. I will never touch the cigarette or a hookah or whatever he was smoking, like ever in my life again. And then Saraswati Thakur happily accepted him as his disciple, and he became one of the most prominent disciples and very and contributed a lot into development of Gaudiya mission in Calcutta. But this is a perfect example of Yukta Vairagya and also tolerance, and how a Vaishnava, a pure Vaishnava, can see everyone connected to Krishna. It's just a matter of time. And what the point I was illustrating is how Srila Gurudev said that all I need from my followers and disciples is loyalty and chastity to me. All the bad habits will disappear if you're loyal and chaste and you just follow my instructions, my guidance. Then everything will be fine. All those small things, they will be washed away in your cleansing, the cleansing of the heart process. It's all in Shikshashtaka. And on the bhajan that Dhananjay Prabhu is saying, when he asked that question, I remembered Madhusudan Maharaj, who says that every page, every verse, every book they're reading today is the best book ever. So I would agree and apply same principle on Shuddha Shah Prabhu's expression of special feelings towards Jai Sachinandanam Suramuni Vandanam song. And he would have said same thing about Saraswati Arati. He would have said about every composition of Guru Maharaj, his glorification to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his several songs dedicated to Saraswati Thakur, what to speak of beautiful glorifications of Mahaprabhu in 70 plus verses, and many others. So each of them is unique and beautiful, and with each of them we should get acquainted. And then in conclusion, I can say Gurudev's words. He used this word exactly. I mean, I heard it, it's recorded, everyone can hear it. I beg you, please try to understand what you're singing. I beg you. He's not saying, oh, you should, or it's better for you. No, I beg you. Because he knows what kind of treasures are in those songs and those prayers. And he knows how much they can help those who are singing them with understanding, with faith, with understanding, with sincerity. Anyhow.
And yesterday, the day before that, and the day before that probably, here in the Irish temple, the for some reason, devotees gather together when it's going to be lunchtime. I wonder why. Okay, because they like to do service, I know. So anyhow, so here in the very new Irish Centre, which is just, they feel it's just been kind of inaugurated with the fire yagya and everything that took place this last weekend in Ireland. I mean, it's very positive and sweet gatherings of devotees here. Anyway, the sweet devotees do gather for lunch. And so we made a point of singing Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Sri Gora Hari. And then maybe yesterday or the day before, but we've been reading it with the translation. So afterwards, the translation. And actually it was our Induleka, our Krishna's Induleka, who after we were reading it the day before yesterday, she said, really, there is no other song like this anywhere. Look how amazing is this song. The description, so this is, we've talked about Prasharam, Sharirara Vijayam before, but this Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Sri Gora Hari, the Bhogarati song, there's no other song like that also. The description of the honoring Prasadam and how Krishna takes Prasad and all lined up, and then afterwards, then the descriptions of the prasadam that's served, and also note some of the different, like the order that it comes in. But then afterwards, all the cowherd boys line up and wash their hands and mouths, and then, they lie down with Baladev, they rest with Baladev, and then they all take nicely some what is it called, if we don't mention what the substance is, and then at least something for digestive, a digestive at the end of the meal. And then they all take very nice rest, and very ananda vishram, they're taking very nice rest. And then how the prasad is then distributed to the gopis and to all of the devotees, and Radharani's cooking, what she cooked, etc. Where else will we find such a bhajan like this? And how beautiful, not only beautiful, happy song, because we're about to honor Prasadam if Krishna left, but what a happy song for the content. And again, for those who live in the temple, or when you visit the temple at the weekends and things, this is very common. I mean, it is sung at lunchtime when the Lord is being offered, while he's taking his bhoga, while he's eating the tasty things, then this song is sung, and really very, very sweet. Each of the songs, as Paramananda pointed out, each of the songs are unique and amazing. Hare Krishna. And so is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Maha Mantra of the holy names of the Lord. So let us also not be an MP3 player or a cassette player for our chanting. We need to be trying to chant directly and inoffensively. And yes, Sripad Dandi Maharaj just appeared. He just appeared like that. Dandavat Dandi Maharaj. But appearing as our journey today is coming to an end. Our journey on Zoom, our Zoom journey. Now it's the time where we say, put up your tray tables, put your armrests down, open the window blinds, put out your cigarettes, and prepare for landing. But
And read the chat, Maharaj, read the chat.
They always say also, they always say also, make sure you're aware of where the emergency exits are, just in case we crash this plane when you're landing. But with all of this, we also always need to know where the exit is, emergency exit or not. And the exit is in chanting the holy name with our head at the lotus feet of Guru, Vaishnava, and Mahaprabhu, and in proper attitude of seva. Srila Govinda Maharaj stated in the book Religion of the Heart, Kīrtan is the wealth of our life. And a topical PS or PD in Spanish, a little addition, that is that Devashish is here in Ireland, and we'd love him to be able to contribute too, but a little early for the good devotees in Ireland. And but Devashish, the devotees asked for a name, and so I said to Devashish, okay, what name for the ashram here, this new ashram that they have, that they purchased? It's not rented, they purchased and committed themselves for paying off the bank, because necessary to do like that. And so they've committed themselves in service, and this has brought devotees together very happily. It's an illustration of how when there's a project, when there's an ashram, somewhere to gather rather than, yes, someone's house is good. I mean, everything is good, but good, better, best. To have an ashram and then is very unifying for the devotees. And they come here and they love to sing Gopish, and they've got this. They've been infected by the happy singing heart of Gopeshwar Prabhu that we mentioned earlier. All credit to him. And he is the leader of the devotees here. But they do love to chant bhajan. And we have people who they're coming only to hear, just they come again and again to hear the bhajans, and not only young people, but the older, older bodied people too, and very happily seeing that. And so Devashish pondered, and then he said, and we can call it the Sridhar Govinda Seva Kīrtan Sangha. And then I did ask him at the time when he said, is it Sridhar Govinda Seva or Sridhar Govinda Seva Kīrtan Sangha? He said both will work. But why he called it the Seva and the Kīrtan Sangha? Because they like to chant Kīrtan. They like to, and it's very happy to be with those devotees who they're happy to chant Kīrtan. And their principal sort of the reading guidance is reading the translations of the Kīrtans. And then they're reading from actually now they're reading from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love, which is very appropriate for us all. To bring our Krishna consciousness to Mahaprabhu consciousness. So anyway, we've already finished our time. We can't start another topic now. But this way, the kirtans that they sing, it's a principal part of their nourishment, not only the singing, but the educational side is coming from there too. From Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs, Narottam Das Thakur songs, and as we see here, Srila Guru Maharaj's songs, Srila Gurudev songs. So wonderful things. And what is the Yuga Dharma? Anybody got an answer? Yes, Harinam Sankirtan. This is our duty. This is our way in Kali Yuga. So let us congregationally chant and fully chant. So when possible, to chant with others. Kīrtan is the wealth of our life. Okay. I'm copying and pasting that, putting it in my little sticky.
I think that was the commentary on the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what Govinda Maharaj, his unique illumination of that.
And recently we had I believe Srila Govinda Maharaj, probably in Revealed Truth, giving us the message, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's something like this. Perhaps it's in the same section. Okay, today we do have, or I do have to continue my life here in the morning. So we can't start another topic right now. But happily having this input and giving us some topics for our discussion today, and back to basics. And we must try to see that every devotee is always going on, sometimes visible, sometimes not visible to us, but whatever happens to anyone else, Srila Guru Maharaj said about in the class, he said, as we go through the levels of the years of the classes in the university, some we will see drop out after the first year, some don't make the grade of the second year, some, but Guru Maharaj saying, but if only one student will be successful, that will be me. That should be our determination, that we shall not drop from this path. Others may go, we have some sympathy, some empathy for them. If we can help, then very good. But we will continue and we will stay solid and steady for our journey. So even if we think that we see others dropping away in the external way, at least, then we should not be discouraged by that. We shall be more strengthened. Yes, but I must be successful. So let us all be successful in our devotional life. Do the right things, leave the wrong things, chant Hare Krishna, be happy.
Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Matsud Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Srila Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sunda Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rokhok Sridharadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. Vishwarani Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. And all the assembled devotees ki Jai. All Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. All Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shripad Dandi Maharaj here with us ki Jai. Shripad Paramanand with us ki Jai. And Jivana Devidasi was with us. She is with us, but connecting to audio. I hope you can hear us ki Jai. And to Praneshwari Didi and to all of the senior devotees who are with us here and on Facebook, which I can't see today due to circumstance, and to all the devotees who will be watching also, our special appreciation to all of you and jais to all of you too. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Ami Ashchi.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Praneshwari